Because Seattle's axis of rabies is torrentially psychopathic about the idea of a deaf man having a girlfriend, every now and then I have to go into some talk about the way I used to date girls who practiced birth control and who didn't really think very much of kissing goodbye and moving on. This was considered normal conduct in the city of Pittsburgh growing up. Most of the people I knew around me um, slept around or played the field, as one girl from Swarthmore put it. So it's not clear what Jay Inslee and Bob Ferguson's gang tell each other in the hush hush rooms of Cyber Peep, which they frenetically demand. And it became clear that the government was hiring attack prostitutes as part of a spy nerve network behind the AIDS attack. This became perfectly clear. Because the murderers are psychopathic about dating, they're forensically maniacal, anti human contact of any sort, particularly of a consensual private dimension. They began to say we're questioning the values of the slave being trafficked. It wants to subject itself to successive degradations of the X motive, and we are going to help it do that, to teach it a lesson about the moral dimension of the Israeli army in America. In other words, we're going to torture by sexual abuse a deaf man to justify the AIDS attack. Okay, and that's where Bernie Sanders is coming from. That's where Nosferatu is coming from. That's where Joe Biden, Barack Obama, and the poison rivals, and poison in the mouth mavericks of sound mental health who were rivals that got ahead by deafening me in childhood and didn't like seeing me catch up. They banned me from college, saying I wouldn't be able to succeed. And when I escaped, I graduated at the top of my class. That's not how much credibility sound mental health can claim in the matter. So we know for certain that they're ravenously psychopathic. They make up all sorts of stories. They claim that they they, they had to forensically examine the queer rape by putting a virgin honey in his bed, an innocent girl who wanted to make love, who was panting to be taken. Bill Gates said we had to do this to make sure he wasn't a rapist. And why? Because Robert Fripp said he left a girl a virgin after dating for 2 years. Clear sign of rapist tendencies. And they all shook hands on this concept of theirs and proceeded to make out as if mass murder was a lampoon. And what more did they do while making mass murder a lampoon was convince people that they were putting on a comic art from the dens of Howard Stern because Yoko Ono said, about the little deaf wee wee who everybody in Pittsburgh used to beat up because he just happened to be a humanist of Franklin Graham locked out of church through his proxy, Sean Brooks, who just happened to be seduced in a shack by a girl with enormous knockers when he was a little boy in trauma, who just happened to have a script from the Zionist armed forces signed Gay Ill Carolyn Burston, which is a homophone for Christian Armageddon. Gay illness, Christmas caroling, bombs bursting. Gay, ill, caroling, bursting. And it just happened to happen that way. It just happened to happen that way. It just happened to turn out that one of them wrote, the persona is subjected to successive degradations of the X motive. It just happened to turn out that way.